All right, so here we are, the second part of the TCA cycle, also known as the tricarboxylic acid cycle. This is a pathway that is able to basically set the stage for the utilization of oxygen. So to take our pyruvate molecules and break them down even further. Now, the value of that is aerobic organisms, so those that use oxygen in order to break molecules down, have an enormous advantage over those that don't. So they have a greater capacity to obtain energy from organic food molecules. Now, to use oxygen to generate energy, there are three metabolic pathways that are used. The first of which is the citric acid cycle. Second is the electron transport pathway, also known as the electron transport chain, or ETC. And third and finally is oxidative phosphorylation. These last two, the electron transport chain and oxidative phosphorylation, are going to be a part of your fourth exam. The citric acid cycle, aka the TCA cycle, that's what we're going to be getting into here. Now, essentially, what all of this revolves around is this membrane-bound organelle known as the mitochondria. We already talked about the mitochondria in the context of gluconeogenesis, but now we're going to be talking about it because our pathway that we're focused on, that we're concerned with, the citric acid cycle, takes place within the mitochondria. Now, the use of oxygen to produce energy occurs, well, like I said, within the mitochondria. Byproducts of that are NADH and carbon dioxide. Now, as an overview, the citric acid cycle is a series of biochemical reactions that aerobic organisms use to release chemical energy stored in a molecule known as acetyl-CoA, also known as acetyl coenzyme A. Acetyl-CoA is composed of an acetyl group derived from the breakdown of our carbohydrates, lipids, and some amino acids. Okay, that is linked to an acyl carrier known as coenzyme A. Okay, so we already talked about carbohydrate metabolism, and we talked about breakdown of carbohydrates. So that acetyl group is derived from glucose, for instance, that we ultimately break down into pyruvate. Now, the citric acid cycle brings together the carbohydrate and fatty acid metabolic pathways. The metabolic pathways that pertain to fatty acids we're going to get into for chapter number, I believe it's, exam number 4. So this ultimately traps energy as a reduced coenzyme, releases carbon dioxide as the oxidized product. Overall, the tricarboxylic acid cycle has a reaction that consists of acetyl-CoA, NAD+, FAD, GDP, PI, and 2 water molecules. So those 6 inputs result in formation of carbon dioxide, NADH, H+, FADH2, coenzyme A in the reduced form, and GTP. So for one glucose molecule, keep in mind, we kind of early on in glycolysis, we take the 6 carbon molecule and we break it into 2 3 carbon molecules. And then we go all the way through and make our 2 pyruvate molecules, our 2 3 carbon molecules. Now, we kind of branch off here, and we no longer really talk about it's happening 2 times, but effectively keep that in mind. Each pyruvate ultimately is utilized to make an acetyl-CoA molecule. So from one glucose molecule, my point here is from one glucose molecule, you are going to send carbons from glucose through the citric acid cycle, or the CAC, 2 times. Now, you have a pair of electron acceptors, and those are NAD+ and FAD. All right, well, we're going to get into this a little bit more in just a moment, so hang tight.